Good morning. Good morning and welcome to today's broadcast of Thriving Tuesday, Moments of Encouragement, hashtag veeencouraged. And we are really happy you are here. Let me go to the comments so I can say good morning. Good morning, sunshine. Glad that you are here. And I know you'll listen later, but thanks for your presence. And there's some others here. Why don't you let me know you're here? And I certainly would appreciate that. It is a good day. We woke up with major storms and lightning up all over the all over the windows. But God is good. The sun is starting to peek through, and so we're grateful. Good morning, my joy. Today we want to talk about the alignment of our heads and our hearts. You know, there are two kind of people in the world typically: people who are head people who are in their head all the time. I happen to be one, and I'm working on it. In their head all the time, always thinking about the what ifs, always thinking about this, always thinking about what's an angle. We are always on thought. And then there are some people who are heart people all the time. They are heart people. Whatever they feel is what is. And if they don't feel it, it isn't. And if they do feel it, even if their head tells them absolutely not, their heart will lead them in that direction. And so, what we want to talk about today is the importance of lining those up. Good morning, Miss May. Of lining those up, lining up your heart and your head. And the Bible gives us all of these examples of lining up our heads and our hearts, that we can't be so head oriented that we miss the heart. That's why we don't trust in the Lord with our own understanding, because that will mean that we mess up, because our thoughts will take us places that they don't need to go. But then there are those people who are just heart. And because the heart sometimes can be evil, the Bible tells us be careful of the heart, because it can sometimes be deceitful. So we have to know that there has to be a balance, an alignment of head and heart. And sometimes it's not even balanced, because sometimes they must merge. Sometimes they must come together. So there has to be an alignment of them. And I think that the most important verse in the Bible that talks about the alignment of head and heart and all of us is every time in Deuteronomy, and then in each of the synoptic gospels, you will find love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your mind, with all your strength. And those things kind of put the head and the heart and the hands together. And so when we think about this, good morning, Miss Cross. When we think about the alignment of our heads and our hearts, the verse doesn't say some of your heart, some of your mind, or a balance of your heart and a balance of your mind. The verse says, love the Lord with all of it. And so that means that it would be in alignment, that when it's in alignment, when you love the Lord with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength, guess what? That neighbor as yourself part doesn't get so hard. Good morning, Missy. That loving your neighbor as yourself, so that knowing that self-love is important. I know that there are a lot of us that right now are dealing with our hearts and our souls and our minds, and dealing with our self-care. And so as we're dealing with self-care, sometimes we want to move ourselves in front completely. But there has to be a moving yourself to a place where you are caring for yourself as you love the Lord, your God, with all your heart, your soul, and your mind, and your neighbor. So all of it is working together. All of it must be aligned. And if it's not aligned, what happens is that we get imbalanced. We get off kilter. We find ourselves being self-centered when we ought to be caring about someone else. If we're not careful, we will find ourselves so focused on me, that we forget that we're called to care for others, that we're called to see the pain of others. We're called to see people where they are as well. So my encouragement to you today is to get your heart and your head aligned, because that alliance of head and heart is powerful. Because when they're aligned, then all systems are go. You ever seen something where it says, well, this part of the system's going well, but this part needs tweaking? When the head and the heart are fully aligned and they are focused where they need to be, there is nothing. It is absolutely the most powerful alignment in your humanness. Because when those are aligned and God is in the center, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. Things that seem impossible become possible. Situations that seem invincible become malleable. That when you have your heart and your head aligned with God and in your life and with the lives of your community, there is nothing you cannot do. And the energy that it'll give you is amazing. Sometimes we've been talking about how we fall off and we're kind of not feeling things. But when we align all of that up, it's like it's an amazing energy that will move you to keep doing, to keep being, to keep making sure that everything you're doing is focused where it is your purpose is, because your head, which knows the purpose, and your heart, which feels, are connected to each other. I'm not talking about relationships and our connection to other people in an intimate way today. What I'm talking about is harnessing the power within us when we align our heads and our hearts. It's exhilarating. And sometimes it comes in a fleeting moment and then it's gone. And you're like, I want that back. I want that back. It's almost like a natural drug. But we got to line up this head and this heart. And when that happens, all the pistons inside of us work. Because those of us who are called, those of us who know the Lord, know that when we give God all of those things, then God helps us to align them. And when God's in it, there's nothing we cannot accomplish. I'm just a firm believer, and I want to encourage you today that you can do it when your head and your heart are aligned, when you know unequivocally that this is what it is, and God gives you the strength to say, and since that's what it is, let's focus on it together. Let's get in here. Let's make the best of what our situation is. There is power in that. I don't care if it's your health. I don't care if it's your business. I don't care if it's your, and back to the personal relationship, I don't care if it's your marriage and your family. When you align the head and the heart, you can see things in your mind's eye. Your vision changes, and you can have hope that you may not have had with them separated. And sometimes the heart makes you feel like, oh, I can do this. And the head says, no, that's not happening, or vice versa. But when they're aligned and focused on the same pathway, you're going to win. I'm just a believer. So God bless you today. Heaven smile on you. Stay in the fight. Don't you dare give up. Stay in it. Work with it. Ask God to help you, comfort, strengthen, and keep you, all of that. So when you are doing that, when you're standing in that place of alignment, when you have recognized who you are and what the struggles are, but you've come into alignment, your head and your heart, then your hands will be able to do the work that you're called to do. So God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Be blessed on today. Take care of yourself. Know that your head and your heart aligned makes all the difference. You can do this. I believe it. Be encouraged. See you soon.